RuneScape has gone through many changes over the years, from getting rid of PvP, going to EoC, getting an old school server. But what is RuneScape really about in 2022? Let's talk about it. Yo, what's going on guys? My name's Valric and today we're going to be talking about what RuneScape is really about in 2022 and just have a little discussion with each other. So definitely join in with it in the comment section down below, because I'm very curious to see what you guys think, because obviously this is just my opinion on the subject, and as I said, like, you guys might think about it completely different to me, and I definitely want to hear that in the comment section down below, because you guys always come with amazing things, and I really want to thank you guys for that, because I said it in multiple videos before, but I just want to reiterate it one more time. Is the discussions I have with the comment section is probably even more, like, I'm really enjoying making these videos the more and more I'm making them now, but the discussion I'm having with you guys is just incredible. So thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. If you're going to enjoy this video as well, consider giving it a like. It really helps me out. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're still on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And without further ado, let's just get into this video. I think to fully understand the subject at hand, I think we actually need to go back in time first to really grasp how RuneScape has just changed over the last 20 years. Because I think a lot of people just don't want to either accept it or just don't really see how this game changed. Obviously, people struggle with change. Like, look at any game, like, oh yeah, Pokemon used to be way better back in the day. Well, do you really think that, you know, me looking as a kid, as a 10-year-old kid, like, just looking around, just surfing over the Hoenn Seas. Obviously, if you've never played Pokemon, you have no idea what I'm on about, but like, I literally went like hours upon hours just searching for the place where I needed to dive to actually continue on the story. Is that great game design? I don't know. Like, you could say like, oh well, that's part of the experience, but at the same time you could also say, well, you know, it wasn't really, because I don't know. But that's the same with like other games, and just obviously RuneScape is, things just change over the years, and some things change for the better and some change for, well, the worst, honestly, because, you know, some things have changed in RuneScape, and some people would say EoC if you are someone who doesn't really play RuneScape 3 and still watch my videos. I really do appreciate it, my guy. But EoC is probably, if at first I was fully against it, but like how it is right now in its current state, I think it was the right way to go about it, and I think it was just wrong how they did it. That's the problem. If they released it in the state that it was, I mean, to release in the state that it is right now was probably impossible, because it didn't have all the feedback players would give it. But if it would have just released with Revolution, even Revolution Plus Plus, and an even better like understanding and tutorial on it, then it would have been so much better. But hey, we'll get into that a little bit later. But as I said, we need to go back in time. I would love to talk about Classic because it's interesting to me, but I just don't know anything about it, and I don't want to, like, you know, talk about nonsense here or just things that I read on the wiki, because all I could really find about Classic, what really was big in Classic, and kind of like the main aim and main goal of Classic, was just PKing and just kind of like wandering around and exploring. And it's kind of just, to me, it's a bit of a vague area, because I started playing in 2006, so I really know what RS2 was like, and even for me and for my friends and what we all would do. And I think with Classic, I think the player base was also a little bit older, because from what I really saw, it's like it was taken a lot more serious compared to RS2, at least from what I read on the wiki. So let me know in the comment section down below if you played Classic when it was about. What was it really like? What was the player base like? What were like the main objectives? Were you PKing? Were you slaying monsters? Were you just wandering around doing quests, or were you just doing random things like in RS2? And as I said, this is the time that I know most about. So obviously, let's start about something that I don't know a lot about, but I know that it was big back then because I was around, and, you know, everyone still talks about it to this day. It was PKing. Player killing was the biggest thing in RuneScape around the era of 2005 to like 2009 or 2008. It was released, so 2009 it couldn't be PKing. So pretty much up until the removal of the wilderness, PKing used to be the biggest thing within RuneScape. And even I participate in PKing to a certain extent, because I used to love to go to the original clan wars and just, you know, make a little clan, make a group of people, and then just fight other clans in the free portal where you wouldn't lose anything. And it was such a fun experience because, you know, people weren't that good. I was just literally there with my Dragon Longsword and my Dragon Dagger, Poison++, my DDS, just, you know, specking people out in clan wars. And obviously there were no switches. I didn't bring magic, I didn't bring range. I was literally just there with my dragon longsword, probably like my granite body, dragon med helm, dragon plate legs, oblique hide shield, just specking people. And, you know, sometimes I would win a fight, sometimes I would lose a fight. It was up and down, and it was so much fun. And that was really what RuneScape was about in the like mid 2000s, is fun. We all just had fun in the game. Like, obviously, I think a lot of us who played back then were a lot younger. I was, as I said, in 2006, so it meant I was 8. I was 8 years old, and I played with all my friends from school, and I was a bit earlier than most people, so I had a better understanding of the game when everyone started playing. But dude, I spent hours just slaying goblins and just slaying cows, and collecting the cow hides and banking them, and then selling them to, well, first to other players, but eventually to the G. Like, oh my god, the G was like a lifesaver, especially when you didn't speak English that well like I did, because, you know, I'm Dutch and English is my first language. It was very difficult to sell items on RuneScape because, you know, buy and sell was something I would understand. So it would be like buy whatever. But as soon as someone started like trying to, you know, get a different price whilst in trade, I just wouldn't really understand it unless they were Dutch and talking Dutch to me. And it wasn't a one. So the GE really helped me back in the day. But just in general, it was having fun. Like, you would literally go to Hill Giant, pick up the Lympho Roots and the Big Bones and banking them. Like, I saw a guy that had a 1,000 or 100,000 Big Bones stack. Like what's it called? The white stack of Big Bones. And I was like, I want that. Obviously, I never attained that because that was ridiculous and I didn't grind that much as a friend. But it was just fun. And as I talked about in my Why is RuneScape Not Social Anymore video as well, it was also my social media. I talked to my friends on here. I obviously met new people via RuneScape, but mainly with my in real life friends, I talked to them via RuneScape. This was my MSN, this was my WhatsApp, this was my Discord, whatever you want to call it. RuneScape was my social media, and that is really just how RuneScape was in the mid 2000s. And it's something we look on back to with fond memories. But if you really think about it, if you would go back into that time, and that's kind of what happened with old school RuneScape, you play the game completely different. Like, I'm not going to bash on old school RuneScape because I think it's an actually great game. And I don't want anyone who watches me, because the majority of people watch me for RS3, of course. I don't want you to bash on old school RuneScape because it's a great game. It has its issues, and I generally think that it could benefit from a lot of things. And before any old school players start commenting, I am 2k total. I've done most bosses, so I actually know what I'm talking about when it comes to old school. So don't blame me, okay? I love both games just equally, and it's going to be a great video when I talk about that because it's on the list. So, you know, just wait and see. But with old school RuneScape, and I know I'm kind of jumping in like forward in time a little bit, but we'll go back to EoC in a second. It really just showed how when you play the same game from 2007, it gets played differently because you're older, you've changed as a person, and you kind of know what you're doing. Like, as a kid, I wasn't doing an efficient quest order to level. Like, when you start out an account in old school RuneScape, you just do quests to level up your account and barely train anything till you have pretty much have barrels gloves, almost. Like, obviously, there's some quests where you need to, like, train some levels for, but that's pretty much how you play old school. And I'm not saying everyone plays it that way, but that's usually how people play it, and they know what to do. They know then that, you know, you shouldn't just mindlessly kill minotaurs and pick up iron arrows, or zombies to pick up steel arrows. No, you do Slayer, so you trade up your combat and Slayer at the same time, unlock new monsters, new money makes. Like, we know how to play the game now, so it's completely different, and the experience is different. And then I think the flaws of the game kind of, you know, come forward. And I'm not saying RuneScape 3 doesn't have flaws. They just have as many flaws, if not more flaws, because it's just built upon. But let's go back in time. Obviously, in 2008, 2009, the wilderness and free trade got got removed, and it sparked riots, and it was such a big change to RuneScape. And there was just a shift in what to do, because, as I said, PKING was the biggest thing, if you like it or not, around that time, and everyone suddenly had to do other things. And I think that is really where PVM just kind of found its come up, because, you know, you couldn't kill other people, so why not go and slay other bosses? So that's really what RuneScape changed into. It was just PVM and monsters, and obviously RuneScape, I think, really, you know, went into that, well, demand, because they couldn't go into any other demand because there wasn't any. It was literally skilling or bossing at that time. And I guess when the wilderness came back, it was just a bit dead. Like, everyone was kind of like, everyone left and everyone went to private servers to still experience the PKING, because everyone just really liked it. And then, you know, the bossing, like PVM obviously grew, and especially RuneScape 3, I would say that is the biggest community as of now. And that's okay. That's how this game evolved and how this game changed. And obviously the biggest change, and probably the most controversial change, was EoC. And I think the biggest mistake with EoC, because as I said before, I think it is good now, but when it released, I thought it was awful. I didn't understand it, and I stopped playing the game as well. I'm going to be completely honest about it. I quit, and then when Old School came out, I started playing RuneScape again, and then, you know, my friends still played RS3, so I kind of dabbled in RS3, but never really understood it. But when you take the time to really understand it, and when you just start the game with Revolution, and, you know, when it's kind of explained to you, which is the biggest issue in RuneScape. That is why RuneScape is not growing, is because it's too confusing. And that will be another video. I might already be out because I'm recording multiple videos today. So if it's already out, I'll put it in like the link in the description, obviously in the top right corner. But it was an issue. So like it made me quit, and it made me go to Old School RuneScape. And I had a lot of fun playing Old School RuneScape because obviously it was reliving my childhood memories. But then again, it just wasn't the same, because you don't have that wonder again as a kid, or as an older person. Like I was like 16 or something at the time, 15, 16. Like you don't have that wonder anymore as you did as a kid. Like, dude, I was like, my pitch to RuneScape was literally like my neighbor who was like, dude, I found this game, like it's free to play, and like you can like cut trees and like light logs, and I was fighting this goblin and it took me out and I lost my tinderbox, and I was like, that sounds sick. I need to play this game. Like, can you imagine that being a pitch to a game now, and you'd be like, bro, that sounds no, I'm good, bro. Like, no. And that's just how it changed. And to get to the point of this entire video, what is RuneScape about in 2022? Well, as I said, it changed over the years. It went from being about PKing and exploring and just having fun and being social and chatty to kind of just grinding. And you probably thought like, no way, I could have figured that out myself. Clicking off the video. Wait, it's not just grinding. I think RuneScape has really, at least RuneScape 3, has really spawned in different kinds of communities, and some are very known. Obviously, people go for PVM logs and just go do like quick kills in PVM, or just, you know, get just as much money via PVM as possible. I mean, you have people that go for completionist, trimmed completionist. You have people that mainly skill and go for 120 skills, 200 mil skills, going for high scores. But you also have people like that go for like clue scrolls and clue communities, and that is such a huge community as well, and it kind of like spawned these different kind of communities. And obviously, not to forget about the Iron Man. Iron Man is its entire own game mode, and I think over the years, RuneScape has just dissolved into more sub-communities, where back in the day, you pretty much had everyone who did PK and everyone who did not PK as two communities that were going around in RuneScape. And over the years, it just kind of went into like this whole spectrum of different kind of things that people do. Like, I generally know clue hunters who literally just have a maxed account with all the teleports that they need and done the quest that they need for the clue scrolls, and all they do all day long is just clue scrolls, gathering, clue scrolls, gathering, clue scrolls. That's literally all that they do, and that's fine. And that is the beauty of the game. You make your own journey and you do whatever you want in this beautiful game called RuneScape. And that is exactly what you should do as well, because just with like why people like Efficiency Scape is your problem video. I know I'm referencing a lot of videos, but I just don't want to repeat myself over and over again in these videos. And, you know, if you're interested in it, like, go check it out. But I kind of mentioned as well, like, people's efficiency is just your problem. You're being efficient. No one is forcing you to. Like, Jagex, if anything, is trying to push you away from being efficient, and by introducing all these AFK methods and all the other, like, different types of training methods. So, you know, just enjoy the game how you like it. If you want to... Oh, PK is going to be a bit difficult because it's dead, isn't it? But if you want to PVM, go PVM. If you just want to gather clues, go gather clues. If you just want to skill, do that. That's the beauty of this game. So let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. And as I said, like, this video is just a bit all over the place, and it's kind of like a nostalgia trip as well. So I really hope you enjoyed it. I've been doing a couple of these videos over the last few weeks as well, because I don't know, I just think RuneScape has an interesting history, and I really like talking about how it was back in the day and how it has changed. And it's maybe for the better for some people, and for some people it's for the worst, and that's okay. For me, the game definitely changed for the better, but back in the day it was really good as well. It's just different, and different isn't always bad. So really hope you went and enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely leave a like on this video, comment as well, like, give me your stories, give me your thoughts, and yeah, subscribe if you're new. We're still on the road to 1000. And without further ado, my name's Valric. See you guys in my next video.